The journey to crack one of India's toughest exams, the RBI Grade B, is long, one that needs perseverance and the right strategy. Hi, this is Anil. I was fortunate to be the All India Rank 1 holder in RBI exam back in 2018. If you are aiming to crack this exam, I might be able to help you achieve this dream. As a super mentor for the RBI program on Oliveboard, I'm available to interact one-on-one with you, share strategy lessons and draw insights from my own preparation and set you up for success. Click the link below to check out the details. See you on Oliveboard soon.
Hi everyone, very good evening. I am Manat Sharma from Oliveboard, and today we have with us Aman Raj, who has recently cleared the RBI Grade B 2024 examination. First of all, I would like to congratulate you, Aman.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
I would like to ask you, how are you feeling after clearing one of the toughest examination? Just let us know how are you feeling right now.
I'm feeling good, ma'am. Actually, when the result came, it was quite exciting, I'd say, and it felt great, ma'am, that I'm in the list in one of the toughest examination and to be part of one of the most reputable institutions of India. So it feels great, ma'am. Yes.
That's great. That's great. So we are going to keep the session brief. We are going to talk about your strategy and how you cleared this examination, how were you motivated. Very briefly, we are going to keep it. And all the aspirants would also want to know from you how was your strategy. That is why we are conducting this session. Okay.
Sure.
So firstly, I'd like you to introduce yourself. Very briefly, your education background, your professional experience about that.
Yes, so my name is Aman Raj. I am from Aurangabad district of Bihar, and I have completed BTech in Computer Science Engineering from IIT ISM Dhanbad. And since 2019, I have been working as a software engineer in one of the MNCs in Pune. And in 2024, I appeared for the RBI Grade B exam. It was technically my first attempt because I had appeared last in 2019. It was just kind of to see how it is, how the exam is. So, and I feel good to be a part of the list of the RBI's finally selected candidates.
Okay, so you didn't appear for any exam after 2019, between 2019 and 24.
Yes, ma'am. I was in my job, I was totally focused in that direction.
Okay. So were you only preparing for RBI Grade B or any other exam as well? Were you targeting just this examination?
Yes, ma'am. I started in 2024. After the notification came, then only I started for this examination. So I prepared for that and I made it to the list. It feels good.
Okay, so when you started your preparation, did you do it on your own or did you take any coaching for this exam?
Mostly it was on my own. I took test series of Oliveboard, and in that there were sections wherein I got the access to the current affairs and the ESI and FM notes in the portal. So I took reference from there.
So let's talk about the phases of the examination. First of all, let's talk about phase one. How did you prepare phase one? Because you know most of the students face this issue in QRE section. You know, quant. I think quant is very difficult for the students, maximum students. Then we have reasoning, we have English. How did you cover phase one? And what was the most challenging portion in phase one that you think was for you?
Yes, ma'am. So phase one, I also found reasoning and quant very difficult to tackle. But the key was I tried to identify the weak points. What were my weak topics where I was not able to score? So I focused on them. For example, the puzzle part in the reasoning section. I took some video lessons from YouTube and I focused on that section only. So the sectional tests that are available on various websites and the full tests of those sections, it helped me. And also from Oliveboard, I took the test series, so I gave full length tests, and that in that way I was able to tackle the reasoning and the quant section. Regarding the current affairs, the general awareness, that is also very dynamic in nature, I would say. There are a lot of questions on current affairs, and static questions are way less in number compared to the current affair questions. So I had to keep a track on what is going on. So I usually read newspaper. So I made notes from the newspapers, and I again took the help of the test series to memorize them, to fill the gaps which were present, and that way I was able to prepare for general awareness as well. And in English section, I was comfortable, ma'am. So there was not that much challenge in that section. But overall, when I appeared for full length tests, that way I got to know where are my weaknesses, where is my strength, and in that way I prepared for phase one.
Okay. So you said that you were going through the newspaper for general awareness. Which newspaper did you follow?
I follow Indian Express and Business Standard, ma'am.
Okay, so you followed these two newspapers and you made notes also from that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so did you follow any current affairs magazine for that, or it was completely that on a daily basis you read the newspaper and you made notes from that, and that was helpful for you?
In current affair magazines, I again took reference from the open sources, ma'am. Those were present in Oliveboard websites also. All the other there are other sources as well. So I like GK Today and all. I took reference from there, but mostly my current affairs section were prepared by this newspapers and the RBI website. There were very so many update on those web on finance and economy related news from RBI website as well, and some open sources like I said earlier. So this was my source for general awareness.
So you and all you covered it from RBI's website.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what is that one important tip for phase one, for clearing the phase one examination that you would like to give to the aspirants? One important tip for clearing phase one.
Give plenty of full length tests. That is most important. I thought it was, because I would say why, because the time is limited, and there are sections which we will know that okay, if I would have attempted these questions, I would have scored better. So that you will know only if you are giving full length test. Then you will realize that where you wasted your time, or where you utilized your time in the best fashion to get the maximum marks. So full length tests as much as you can appear in, that would be great.
Okay, so you're saying that mock tests play a very important role.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly.
So this was all for phase one. Let's talk about phase two. What was your strategy for phase two? Because see, again, students face this issue with descriptive writing. MCQs हो जाते हैं. MCQs फिर भी people are still comfortable with. There comes this challenge of writing answers. So how did you cover phase two? What was your strategy for that?
Yes, ma'am. So I wrote down the syllabus of finance and management and ESI. English was not that a challenge, like for all other aspirants also. ESI and FM is the main challenge. So I wrote down the syllabus. I went module by module. I covered everything. I made physical notes. For example, for the ESI section, the government schemes are very important. So I went on the website of the ministries. I took important schemes that were in news, and something that were updated as well. For example, there were changes in PLI, some new schemes related to PM Vishwakarma, and a lot of changes were there in the flagship schemes. So those I kept a note. Then I followed the budget and economic survey, all from the PIB website or the website of the finance ministry, or the official websites of the related ministries, for example, Niti Aayog website as well. So from there, I prepared for the ESI, mostly current affair based. I took notes, and I revised them regularly. And for finance and management, so I divided it into two parts, finance and management. So I started with management. I wrote down again the syllabus, each module, and I took help of the previous year papers as well to understand that from where the questions are being asked. So for example, in the management section, the questions from the theory of motivation or leadership or communication, these are more relevant, rather other peripheral topics. So I focused on those topics from where questions were repeatedly getting asked. I prepared for them. I prepared the entire module, entire syllabus, but just that those topics I focused more. And that way management was covered. And then for the finance, again, I took all the modules in my notebook, and those topics where I was comfortable, I just had a thorough reading. And those topics which had some dynamic aspects to it, for example, the derivative sections of the economy, there were changes related to SEBI guidelines and all. So those sections I prepared notes, and whatever changes were going on, current affair based, I wrote it down in my notes, and that way I prepared for finance as well. And after my whole syllabus was done, I again started writing questions. I had this Oliveboard test series, so I wrote the descriptive answers in Oliveboard test series. Yes.
Okay. So how to score good marks in descriptive writing? Some 2-3 tips related to phase 2. How to score good marks in this?
Ma'am, I'd say the challenge is one challenge is to complete the answer, because there are 10 markers and 15 markers. 10 markers are of 400 words, 16 markers are 15 markers are 600 words. So if there is typing speed, so try to make sure that you are reaching that word limit, because it helps. If you are completing your answer, then it helps, first thing. Second thing, that if there is a question which has certain dynamic aspect to it, try to incorporate data or some current affair news that is in development, and that will fetch you good marks.
Okay. So I have a question for you, Aman. See, you were doing a job. You said you were working in an MNC.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then simultaneously preparing for the exam, you made your own notes, you were following current affairs, you were reading the newspaper as well. Time management is an issue. I think most of the students face this problem of time management. Some people are just preparing exclusively for the exam and still they feel that they have shortage of time. Then how did you, like, working in an MNC? I know working in the corporate world is, actually very hectic. You don't have any timings. You have to work so hard all day. Sometimes, it's like 9, 10 in the evening. I
Yes,
understand, right? The
yes.
corporate world is very hectic. How did you manage your time? How did you, what was your study routine? I mean, I'm not able to understand how did you crack the examination, that too in you're saying technically your first attempt, while also doing a job.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I need to know that.
Yeah. So yes, it is challenging, but the key is that I try to be consistent in my study hours and in my effort. So my daily routine starts with where I wake up at 7 to 8 or 8 to 9, whatever, however I have set, depends on what I did last night, how much I studied. Then I start with newspaper, and I join office at around 11:30. So from 9 to 11, I have plenty of time, 2 hours to read newspapers, make notes out of them. And if the newspapers are done in 1 hour, let's say, so then the remaining hour I can focus on the syllabus and other aspects of it. Then when I work, I don't mix study and work. So I start office 11:30, and then I'm free by, let's say, 7, 8, 9. Sometimes it goes beyond 9, 10 also, but usually it ends at around 9. So after dinner, I again start 9:30, 10. So 10 to 12 or 12 to 1, 1:30. So 2 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the night. And if I do it consistently, then 5 day a week, I am getting around 4 hours of study. And if you do it consistently, then in a week, in 5 days, you are giving 20 hours for 5 days. And on Saturday, Sunday, it's your time. So let's say I pull off 10 hours or 8 hours on Saturdays and Sundays. Then per week, I'm having a pretty much good amount of time. And if I am working on that routine consistently, then it becomes it does not become a challenge. The other thing is that it's important to be disciplined as well, because sometimes it will feel like, oh, I am so tired, or I could use some rest. But that's where the catch is. You don't have to think like that. You have to just push yourself in whatever way you can. Don't mix work and study, keep them separate, and stay focused. So when you are consistent, you automatically have discipline, and when you have discipline, you have focus. And when these three combine, I would say it gives you the result.
So you are saying that you were consistent, and consistency is the key for you for clearing this examination.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
like you said that there are sometimes extra tired and all. How did you keep yourself motivated all this while? Because I'm sure that it is so hectic, and then you must feel like I just want to enjoy, I just want some rest. I'm studying also, I'm working also. What if mera exam nahi hota? What is going to happen? Sometimes you have that kind of demotivation, and then you think ki chalo theek hai, meri job to hai hi hai, why to study like that. Did you have such kind of thoughts? And if you had, then how did you overcome it? How did you keep yourself motivated?
Yes, ma'am, definitely. These thoughts are pretty natural. Every working aspirant would have these thoughts. But I did not think way beyond. I just thought that, okay, today I am trying to finish the leadership section of management, then I have to finish it. I'm not thinking about the entire examination. I'm thinking just what I have set my goal for today. So in that way, I keep aside all those thoughts that could come, and I am able to, remain motivated. Just that I need to get close to what I have decided to close today. So closure is the key, and closure gives you motivation. That if you are determined that you have to close this chapter or this topic, this module today, then you will not have those thoughts. So that's what has motivated me.
So basically, you had a vision that you need to clear the exam, and for that you set short-term targets and short-term goals, and you were only focusing on that, and that helped you in clearing the examination. You did not think about the result. You were just focusing on your day-to-day routine, your daily routine, and that is how step by step you reached this. You cleared the examination. That is what you are saying.
Yes, ma'am, exactly.
Okay, one more question. Did you integrate your answer writing and your phase one and your answer writing together, or did you first like cover the entire syllabus and made notes out of that, covered the syllabus, and then started answer writing, and then also started your mock test and answer writing together? I mean, how did you go about this in the three phases? So you have your three phases for phase one, phase two, and the interview. How did you manage your time? How did you manage your study routine? I mean, how did you go about covering the syllabus in these three phases? Because you have a duration, say you have 3 months before prelims, and then you have, say, 1 month between prelims and mains, and then you have the interview section. How did you manage your time, in these three phases?
Yes, ma'am. So for phase one, I started after RBI notification itself. I focused on 6 months, last 6 month current affairs for phase one, and I saw the mock questions and previous year questions. So what kind of questions are getting asked? So for in reasoning and mathematics, I figured out that all that I need is just to practice. There is no need of note making or something else. In reasoning, mathematics, and English as well, I just need to practice. So the test series helped me in that. And regarding the general awareness, I made notes. I covered the websites and the current affair magazines and various other sources, newspapers and everything. I made notes, digital notes for that matter. And then I started giving mock 1 month before the examination date. So in that way, and during that 1 month also, there were things, current affair based events that were going on that needed to be captured. So I just kept on adding those, and parallelly I kept giving the mock tests. So that was the strategy for phase one. And when the results of phase one came, I started phase two. The preparation for phase two, I did not start before, just after the result came, I got, I would say, motivated to, okay, let's finish this as well. So I started looking for the syllabus and everything, and I made notes and everything. And once I was done with my notes, I started the test series. So I had around 10-15 days for writing the test series. So I appeared in the test series after completing my syllabus. And yeah, in that way, phase two was handled. I think that we should give more effort in writing the mock tests, especially the descriptive section, because that gives you an idea that, okay, if you have some questions which are not your if you don't know those questions, how do you approach them? If you know those questions and if you have a lot of data points and topics and pointers and everything, in that case also, how do you write a good answer? So practice for descriptive is very, very important. And for objective as well, try to get the reports of the World Bank, IMF from the websites, from the RBI and all. So once you have all this collected, and when you give the test series, it really fills the gap that there are, if there are any, and gives you the confidence as well that how you are going to perform in the examination.
Okay. So we've talked about phase one, the challenging portion of phase one. If we talk about the entire syllabus, which were the topics that you found challenging? For example, mostly people find ESI challenging, right? So what were the challenging topics for you and how do you overcome those challenges?
So for me, ma'am, the ESI topic was not that challenging. Just that the kind of questions that are getting asked from this topic is a bit tricky. It's mostly current affair based questions. So you have to know all the schemes and reports and everything. So that was one challenge, that how to memorize and keep track of everything that is even getting changed. So you have to know what is going on, and it's very dynamic in nature. So ESI section, the dynamic aspect of ESI section was a challenge. But then I kept reading newspapers and websites and all, so it was not that a challenge. Just that I had to keep updating my notes and all whenever there is a change in the existing schemes, or whenever a new scheme is launched. And in finance and management, I found management to be very easy, I would say, relatively. Most of the candidates find it easier than ESI and finance. The challenge was in finance because the financial domain is in itself very large, and the topics are the syllabus is quite extensive. But again, I analyzed the previous year questions. For example, there are topics in the finance sector, finance module, which are not getting asked so regularly. For example, questions on balance sheet or profit and loss accounts, maybe one or two one marker, two marker objective questions are asked. It's not that in your descriptive you are getting questions on write the principles of balance sheet or something. So you have to identify which topic to focus more, which topic is giving you more reward. So that way, because you have limited time, and it's very short duration examination, so you have to identify where to focus. So I focused on those topics which were repeatedly getting asked, and which gave me more reward in the examination.
Okay, so you did selective study basically. You
Yeah.
identified important things and based on your time, because you obviously had less time than usual you because of your job. So you selected the major topics which you think would have given you more marks, and you left the ones not left but read them once but did not focus more on those as well.
Yes, exactly. Just a thorough one bird eye view reading. I made notes as well, but not quite extensive, deeper notes, just to have a basic understanding. If any questions are asked, I could handle that. That's it. But focus more on the main important topics, and that's obvious. We can understand which are the important topics from the trend of the previous year questions.
Study is the key basically.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about mock tests. You gave a lot of mock tests. You focused on full length tests. I want you to tell the aspirants the importance of mock tests and how did you evaluate those mock tests? Because what happens is, what do students do? They'll give mock tests and then they leave it. I have given 10 mock tests, 20 mock tests. Based on that, they judge their preparation. Rather, what you should have done is you just give 4 to 5 mock tests, but you analyze them properly. That is basically what should have been done. So what is your take on that, and how I want you to address to the aspirants about this thing, that how important was mock tests in your preparation, and how mock tests play an important role while preparing for an examination.
Yes, ma'am. So in my preparation, I would say mock test were around 60-70% of the part of preparation that I did. Because and once you give a mock test, it's not that the scores matter. It's not the scores that matter, the kind of questions that are asked and how you performed in that. For example, in phase one, if you appear in a full length mock test and if you solve each and every questions of that mock test as part of analysis, you will find that you have covered almost everything, all the topics from quant or reasoning or current affair based questions. So the tendency is that, okay, because the questions are so many and the time is less, so we tend to just get our scores and that's it, go on to the next one. That is the basic tendency. I also found this to be very tempting, that okay, let's go to the next one. But the point is, you need to analyze the entire length of test, because there are questions which you think that okay, these are tough ones, or maybe these will not be asked in the examinations also. But what if they are asked? So the important thing is that go through the entire length of test, analyze each and every question, and after the test is over, try to solve it. It's that every aspirant will be able to solve it, just that it will take more time. It's not that the question is itself insolvable. So if we analyze one full length test, then it will give you around so much result in your filling the gaps of your preparation. And yes, ma'am, your voice is not audible, ma'am.
Is it fine now?
Yes,
Am I-
ma'am.
Huh.
Yes.
I'm saying giving one or two mock tests that you're saying is more important if you analyze it properly rather than giving 10 different mock tests and not analyzing it properly. That is what you
Yes.
are saying.
Exactly, exactly.
So
And
even
and,
one
and
mock test, yes, yes.
yes, and not just one mock test. I mean, if we have 1 month time or 1.5 month time before the prelims examination, we can appear in 10, 15 mock tests. And believe me, if you are doing all the 80 questions of GA, all the questions of general reasoning and quant, then believe me, you will have very good position in these subjects, that you will feel confident that okay, whatever type of questions will be asked, I will know how to answer those, how to solve those. So it's very important to see everything, go through it. It's challenging, but we need to go through it.
Did you give full length tests?
Yes, ma'am, your question was not fully audible.
And sectional tests help in the preparation, or you should only focus on full length tests? Did you give sectional tests?
Yes, ma'am. So for quant and reasoning, I appeared in sectional tests as well. And once I was done for the last, let's say, 10 days of the examination, I appeared only in full length test.
Okay, okay. So let's talk about interview now. We've talked, enough for phase one, phase two, and your strategies. Let's talk about interview. So you've scored very good marks in your interview, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
how did the interview go? Can you enlighten us about your interview experience? Just tell us how was your experience while giving the interview? Anything related to that?
Yes, ma'am. So my interview was in Mumbai, and there were 6-membered panel. There was a chairman, sir, and one ma'am, and 4 others, sir. And when I entered the room, they welcomed me. Okay, Aman, you are working. So I said, yes, sir. So you are still working? I said, yes, sir. So you are happily working? So I said, yes, sir. So then why do you want to join RBI? So that's how they started. And then they moved to the question that, okay, I had mentioned in my resume that I develop APIs and I am using the GenAI tools as part of my day-to-day work and all. So they asked me, okay, what was the recent API that you developed? And some questions, counter questions related to that they asked. And then they said that, okay, let's move to finance and banking. And there was a sir who said that, okay, RBI acts as a organization which focuses on financial stability of the country. So what do you understand by financial stability? and there were questions and counter questions on that. Then ma'am asked me about generative AI and predictive AI, and how is ChatGPT results different from Google search results. And I said something about the role of technology in RBI. So she asked some questions on those aspects as well, like how do you see yourself in RBI, being from technical background, because RBI focuses more on banking and all. So there were questions related to that. And I said that, okay, we cannot segregate finance and technology in today's world. So that was my premise to answer those questions. And at last, the chairman sir asked me what happens if the exchange rates are volatile. What does RBI do? What is the impact on the importers and exporters? And some other questions related to what are the kinds of banks which are there, what are neo banks. I mentioned about account aggregators. So ma'am asked me what are account aggregators, how many account aggregators are there. So there were questions, counter questions, and overall I was able to answer those. Just in one or two questions, I didn't know. Like they asked me how many neo banks have RBI given license. I didn't know the data. So those questions I was not able to answer. Overall, it was good, but it happens to every aspirant that when you walk out of the interview room, you think that, okay, this question I could have answered differently, or I could have added more, or these feelings are there. And that was with me as well, but overall I was satisfied with the interview.
Okay. Did you appear for any mock interviews or anything? Or did you take help from anyone? How did you prepare for the interview?
Yes, ma'am. So for interview as well, I looked at the transcripts, like which kind of questions are asked in Quora and in on websites of various institutes. I took mock tests as well, mock interviews from EduTap, and one from Anuj Jindal sir's classes. And then I kept reading newspapers, and I kept following the RBI website and RBI mobile app, which is very handy if you use it. So those were my sources for preparation: newspaper, the data from newspaper, and the RBI website and RBI mobile app, and the kind of questions that were asked. So mock interviews helped me to fine tune the way I was answering, and what is the expected answers, length of answers, and how to stay calm and all in the interview. And the newspaper that I used to read that helped me answer those questions which were not expected. For example, in the interview, they asked me, okay, there are a lot of talks about account aggregator and all, but there is no talk about peer-to-peer lending. Now, okay, everybody knows what is peer-to-peer lending, but I had there was a news article that the amount of NPA in P2P lending is around 1100 crores. That data stuck with me, and I used it in the interview. So that's what newspaper articles help you. I mean, it's not that everything will be, you will prepare 1,000 questions and you will be able to answer all the questions in the interview. It's not going to be like that. So being adaptive to questions, it helps. And newspaper reading and preparing from dynamic sources, it really helped me in the interview.
Okay, so basically you are emphasizing this role of newspaper, especially for your descriptive writing and for your opinion-based questions in case of your interview. That is
Yes,
how a newspaper, adds value to your preparation. So it is
yes,
not that you're just reading current affairs magazines and all. It's important to read the newspapers as well to form an opinion about
yes,
certain questions which are
exactly.
unexpected.
Exactly.
Yeah, so many aspirants also have this question that whether we should go through just the current affairs magazine or we should go for newspaper reading as well. So that is what I also tell in the classes, that not just the analysis not is not enough, but you should be able to comprehend what is written in the newspaper. You should be able to read it. It helps you one in English. It helps you in descriptive writing. It helps you in your interview. So for a holistic preparation, you need to read newspapers, right? So I think the aspirants who are reading who are watching this video right now, I'm sure they'll be able to, inculcate this after, listening from you as well, that how that helped you in your interview. So that is what these, talks help the aspirants get the answer to the questions that they are, that they have. So I'm sure this is going to really help, the aspirants. Okay,
Yes,
so I
ma'am.
have one more question for you. How did Oliveboard help you in your preparation? Just give very briefly talk about how what part did Oliveboard play in your preparation?
Yes, ma'am. So my phase one test series and phase two test series, it was completely I depended on Oliveboard itself. So the phase one, I could not complete, like there were around 15 full length tests. I could not complete all of them, but I completed around 10 in phase one, and that gave me pretty much understanding of what should be my strategy in phase one, which questions to attempt first, which questions to leave and all. And in phase two, I appeared for the descriptive and objective based tests. So there were sectional tests as well for ESI and FM and English descriptive and ESI descriptive and finance descriptive. So for phase two, I think that my major preparation was, like I said, my notes and my test series, and Oliveboard played a major role in my test series because I focused entirely on Oliveboard test series itself for phase two, and the feedback from the descriptive questions especially. So it gave me confidence that if I am able to complete the answers, the feedback was that my answers are good, just that if I am falling behind on words, then my marks were deducted. So I focused on typing. I focused on increasing my typing speed. So that way it helped me in actual exam. Like when you type, there are problems in the the keyboards and all. Everything is there. So once you do it at your home for a longer duration of time, it becomes habitual, and you don't face any challenges in the actual exam, and you don't panic. So the practice of writing tests in fully focusing on the whatever timeline is there on the test, not that okay, I will write and then I will go to sleep. I completed, and even if I'm not able to match the time, I even then I completed just like I would do in the real examination. And that's what helped me push myself in the examination, not get panicked when your time is ticking down, and keep your calm and try write whatever you want to write and deliver it on the day of the examination.
Okay, okay. So let's try to summarize this. What advice would you give to all the aspirants who are preparing for this examination, especially for those who are preparing for the first time and who are going to appear for the examination for the first time? So, for those aspirants, what advice would you give them at this point of time?
Yes, ma'am. So still, let's say in 2025 examination, there is a 6 month, at least 4, 5, 6 month time. So start analyzing the syllabus, write down the syllabus. That is very important to know what is asked. Write down the syllabus, have a plan for phase one, that I will cover 6 month current affairs, and I will write test series of around 10 test series of phase one. Then in phase two, before phase one, you complete your phase two static portion at least. And after the phase one result is out, you integrate those with your the current affair part, and then write test series. Again, mock test is crucial. You cannot make this examination without mock test. So write mock tests for phase one, for phase two, and for interview, prepare with the help of mock interviews, toppers transcripts, and I think that through you do everything, but just keep one thing constant, that you read newspapers. You need one business newspaper for sure. Either you read Business Standard or the Mint or the Hindu Business Line. There are a lot. Focus on one, target one. Read physical copy of that newspaper, not the digital one. Read the physical paper. It will give you confidence, and it will give you the result in the long term, when especially when you are encountered with unexpected questions. So that gives you a perspective and a good confidence. So along with this, everything, be consistent, be disciplined, and stay focused and believe in yourself. You will definitely make it.
Nice. Okay, now that the results are out, how do you plan on approaching your career in RBI? Have you thought of any departments, any specific departments that you want to get into? How do you think you want to approach your career in this area now?
Yes, ma'am. So I am from a technological background. So I would say the fintech department, it's a new department opened in 2022, I think. So if it would be great if I join that department. Other than that, department of regulation, department of supervision, and for that matter, any department, there is an IT department as well. There is a risk monitoring department. So any department that the RBI will find me suitable, I am willing to serve it with all the motivation that I am building the nation while I am building the career, like the notification says itself.
That's really great. We have actually discussed your strategy. We've actually discussed, and I'm sure that so many people are being motivated after listening to you. Let's end this session on a positive note. Just give some words of encouragement, some motivational, 2, 3 lines of motivation for the, students who are preparing for this examination. Because I think listening to people like you, teachers or educators won't help them uh, in their motivational aspect. Rather, the toppers who, clear the examination, they really help the students, because I think so many students are going to consider you as a role model and would want to clear the examination like you, right? So just some words of encouragement for them, anything that you would like to say, motivational, you can see 2, 3 lines of motivation.
Yes, ma'am. So the biggest motivation for me is that once you are in the list, then whatever you have done, it's all worth it. So it's not like I am very special or something. I am one of the many. I mean, so go step by step, follow one step at a time. Don't think about the final result. Think about whether you have completed your phase one, whether you have completed your phase two syllabus. And once you do that, you keep aside all those distractions of demotivation and all those noise. You just be focused on what is important, what you are pending, what you have to complete. And step by step, you will find yourself in a position that, okay, my phase one is done, my phase two is also done, and now I am preparing for interview. So I am one of you, and if it happened to me, it will definitely happen to you. So just keep working hard and stay focused and believe in yourself.
Thank you so much, Aman. It was great talking to you. It was very insightful after talking to you. I'm sure all the aspirants who are watching your video, they are going to be really motivated and bumped up for clearing this year's examination. Thank you so much for taking out time and talking to us, bringing in your strategy and your insightful words. It was really beautiful talking to you right now over here. And I really wish you all the best for your future. All the best. Best of luck to you. And I really hope that you reach great heights. Thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, take care. I'll take a leave here. I'm sure all these aspirants are going to be really motivated after listening to you. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great life ahead. Thank you.
Sure, ma'am. You too. Thank you.